You know, there are a lot of things that can ruin your vacation before you've so much as started planning your vacation, and today we're talking about one of them. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to what is currently the interior of the Jeep. But look, we're here in celebration. We're wandering around today. It's absolutely gorgeous this morning. I want to just stroll through the town center area, maybe go grab a coffee and chat with you about this because, like I said, it's been on my mind, and so I want to share it with you, hopefully give you a heads up on some of what does happen here on the social media, here in this space we know as social media, the place that you're going for information. Anyway, let me get myself all squared away. We'll head out, wander around, and just enjoy this beautiful morning. Like I said, we're here in celebration today, and we're starting in one of my favorite kind of quiet spots here, just outside of town center. There's a lot of public parking over here, but there's also some benches so you can sit and relax and just take in this lovely little town. Some of you may have heard of this town before. We've been here, of course, but it's known as the town Disney built because Disney did build this town, though they did sell most of it off. They still have enough of a stake that they have a say, though. It's a cute little place. There's a lot going on here. There's definitely a lot to do during the holidays. They have a big holiday celebration where they close off the main street, which is right out that way. And they have a Christmas tree and ice skating, and it snows. It's a pretty big to-do. We've come to that event in the past, and we'll likely do it again this year as well, especially now that the Boo Crew is down here. This will be their first chance to experience that, and we're looking forward to sharing it with them. So anyway, the reason that we're chatting today is because, well, honestly, for the past few days, it's been a little quiet over at our house. Russ has been down for the count. Don't worry, he's good. But that's been a little bit of a change to our regularly scheduled programming, you know? But while we haven't been out at the parks or anything like that, I have been scouring the internet for just information about what's going on, you know, stuff like that, stuff that I do normally anyway. But one of the things that I noticed in the past few days has been, well, I don't want to say it's a trend that I'm noticing recently because this is certainly not anything that's new. I see this all the time, but it caught my attention and I was like, we have to sit down and talk about this because I know that some people are going to get upset reading these headlines, seeing this information, and you know, our goal is to limit stress and help you plan for the best trip ever. So, like I said, we gotta get into this. I do need to find a different place to sit though, because this is not like blocking the sun at all, these little rocking chairs. That's all right. We'll wander this way. All right, hold on. I was distracted. Check out this turtle. Can you see him? He just poked his nose up. I wasn't sure if it was the alligator because there is an alligator in here as well. Oh, here he is. It's a pretty big one. Also, Starbucks is this way, so maybe we'll go sit on that bench or something, order ourselves a Starbucks, and then find a nice place to sit down and enjoy it. So anyway, the thing that caught my eye was a few different people, but I especially saw one article talking about the rising prices of Lightning Lane, which is Disney's newest iteration of their Skip the Line service. And this was framed in a way that kind of made it seem like no one could have seen this coming. Like the price increase of Lightning Lane took everyone by surprise. And that's where our conversation starts today. First though, I think it's time for me to put in my order. I'm not entirely sure what I want. They do have an iced apple crisp oatmeal macchiato. That sounds delicious. Maybe I get that. All right, my coffee's been ordered. I had a coupon too. I got my beverage for only $3.25. That's crazy. Crazy good deal. All right, let's make our way over to Starbucks, grab our coffee, and then maybe we do a lap. That could be fun. All right, today we went with the apple crisp shaken oat milk espresso macchiato. This was a macchiato, so there's like pumps of stuff in here. Listen, I don't know exactly what it is, but it smells amazing. It's so good. And coupon, got this for $3.23. Amazing. I never do Starbucks, so this is like a special treat. Anyway, We're gonna make our way around that pond, little walking path, taking the back way to get to that path right now. Lots of activity happening over here by the Celebration Hotel. Anyway, oh, who's that? It's my Batman right there, George Clooney. Don't judge, okay? I can hear the judgment. That's my Batman. All right, so back to our conversation. Now look, it's not just that some places share information like this. That's not why we're having this conversation. Everyone's gonna do this content creation thing in the way that they want to, and they're gonna do it in a way that's going to maximize profit for them. In a lot of cases, that's gonna mean leaning into that shock and awe factor. Do I think that that's responsible? Not really, but you know, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. But the reason that we're having this conversation today, you and me, is ultimately because of what I was seeing people say in the comments, how they are responding to this information. Because if they're thinking this, I'm sure that you're thinking this. And if you're thinking this, again, you might be ruining your vacation before it's even begun. Now, when I was thumbing through the comments and just taking in the commentary, seeing what people had to say about this particular topic, there seemed to be like, oh wow, big bird, and a squirrel. If you're interested in the wildlife, he's right there. Everyone seemed to have like the same opinion. Everyone was like, oh, can't believe Disney is doing this. They're pricing out guests. And you know, I get it. I get where this conversation comes from. Oh look, another squirrel. All little baby squirrels today, tiny ones. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I get it. I get that price increases are a sore subject. They're always a sore subject, especially right now. And look, I want to be very clear that my intention, especially with what I'm about to say, is not to stick up for corporations who are price gouging their guests or their patrons. But like I always say, there's balance in all things. And I feel like this is a particular area where the ignorance of someone like you, someone who doesn't know any better, someone who just isn't familiar with how things work, is being taken advantage of. But look, let me explain. And yeah, we're gonna stick with the example of price increases for Lightning Lane just because, I don't know, we already started talking about that and that's what's on my mind. So do you remember when we first started talking about this like a few minutes ago, where I started sipping on this absolutely delicious coffee? I mentioned that it was the framing that had me going like, interesting. Interesting that you would say it like that. It was interesting to me because the idea of this being a change that no one could have saw coming doesn't, well, the math doesn't math. See, for those of us who follow Disney, who are staying up to speed with things like policies and procedures, new products like Lightning Lane, so that we can share information about those things with you, well, we stay up to speed with all of those things. I really don't know how else to say it. You know, we read up on things, we use the products like Lightning Lane, we ask questions. Sometimes we email Disney or chat with Disney to try and figure out how all this stuff works so that we can communicate with you the most accurate information that we possibly can. At least that's what I'd imagine that most people doing this type of thing do. And look, that's not to say that all of us are perfect. That's not to say that we don't get things wrong, because we do. And things change so frequently and policies are implemented so differently sometimes that we slip up. Things go wrong, you know? But for the most part, the foundations of that thing, they stay the same. Again, there are always exceptions, but generally speaking, they stay the same. In the case of Lightning Lane, just like other paid skip the line services here at Disney for the past however many years it's been since they've implemented this, we know a few things. The most important of which is really important for you to keep in mind, especially if you're planning your vacation, is that they are priced using something that Disney calls dynamic pricing. Sometimes they call it surge pricing. You can call it supply and demand, whatever makes you comfortable. But here's how that works. When demand goes up, price goes up. When demand goes down, price goes down. To break it down even further, for those of you who might need the breakdown, hey, no judgment here. That's why we're here, to answer questions, to make this easy for you to understand. During times of the year when it's off season or low season, maybe you've even considered visiting during these times of the year in order to avoid crowds, pay less because ticket prices are lower. Hotel prices can also be lower during these off seasons, these low times. Things like Lightning Lane are going to be more affordable because there isn't as much demand for them. And then as we make our way into high season or peak season, whatever you want to call it, busy season, this is probably the time of the year that you're trying to avoid. Prices for everything, including Lightning Lane tickets, hotels, go up. And look, this isn't something that's unique to Disney. It happens across the industry. Honestly, it happens across other industries as well. Chances are you've experience this in your day-to-day life, even if you've never traveled. Have you ever seen the price of gas go up like right around the holiday? You know, people are going to be making their way wherever it is that they consider back home. Price for gas goes up. You drive by your local gas station, you're like, oh, I should have filled up a couple days ago. Same thing. So this isn't new. This isn't uniquely Disney. It's certainly not something that no one saw coming. And I'm going to say something a little bit bold here, so brace yourself. But I feel like if you didn't see this coming, maybe travel shouldn't be your focus, because this is something that we knew was on the horizon, especially as we make our way out of September and into October. September being that low season, October being on our way up to peak season. So why is this important? Good question. And yes, I know I've been a little bit long-winded about this, but I want to explain to you like the whole scenario. I want you to see this the way I see this, or at least from my perspective, so that you don't fall into the trap that so many people fall into out there. While social media can be an absolutely invaluable tool, and I love social media, I love what it does for people, I love how it can open their eyes and let them know what's available that they might not have ever thought about before. It's so important to understand that some of what you might be seeing might only be there for the sake of outraging you, might only be there for the sake of taking advantage of your insecurity and your ignorance. But so much of coming out ahead so that you're not being taken advantage of by people who are simply out to take advantage of you. And not everyone is, okay? Not everyone is. I want to make sure I'm being clear here. But to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of, what you really have to do is just know what's happening. Be aware of what's going on so that you don't end up caught with your pants down. And that's exactly the type of thing that can happen in situations like this. You can absolutely find yourself in a position where, like I said, you've ruined your vacation before it's even started, because people are sharing information that is designed to stress you out and get you amped up and put you in a position where you're already mad at Disney before you've even booked anything. Especially those of you out there who maybe you're a fan of Disney, but your family member isn't. Can't tell you how many times I see that family dynamic when I'm in the parks. You're gonna get hung up on all the details about how much everything costs and how much you're being taken advantage of. These types of things, these types of articles, these types of perspectives that are gonna get you worked up, amped up about anything, even things that we knew were going to happen, even, you know, getting worked up about stuff that works the way it works. It is absolutely the type of thing that's going to ruin the vacation, not just for that person who's complaining, but also for the family member. You know, the one who wanted to be at Disney in the first place, because they have to deal with that other family member. It's complicated, and it can turn ugly really quick. That's why this type of article, this type of approach irritates me in the way that it does, because I have a really hard time seeing this as like a good faith thing. I can't help but see it as a way just to rile people up, a way just to add that element of stress, that element of drama that will get people to click and share and read the article and everything like that, which, you know, as a creator, that's what you want. You want people to share your stuff, so, you know, people are going to do that in whatever way they possibly can. But when the focus is trying to help people who are traveling, I just don't like that approach. And I would rather see people share more honest information, which is what we aim to do. But like I say all the time, everyone does things differently. Nonetheless, here's the thing. Here's what you need to know. Are prices increasing for Lightning Lane? Yeah, they are. And they are going to continue to increase as we make our way into peak season. So if you're planning a trip during that time, just make sure that you save a little bit of extra money if Lightning Lane, multipass, or single pass, or both are something that you want to do when you're visiting. But understand that, yeah, this is a dynamic pricing structure. This is something that is going to fluctuate. It's going to go up and then it's going to go back down as demand kind of ebbs and flows. Of course, as we say all the time, this isn't extra. This isn't something that you need for your Disney vacation. We talk about how you can get around waiting in long lines here on the channel all the time. We're going to talk more about it, especially as we make our way into the holiday season. But for now, I think it's about time to wrap this conversation up. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I hope that I shined some light on this topic, gave you a better idea of how to navigate what you might be seeing online. As always, I want to hear your thoughts, so pop them in the comments down below. But I'm going to take the last few sips of my very delicious iced coffee, and I'm going to head out. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, bye.